Welcome to the Knowledge Alchemist, your guide to wealth, success, and optimal health. Unlock the secrets of personal growth, business strategy, and the world of AI as we embark on this transformative journey together. Join our community, unleash your potential, and make a lasting impact. Get ready to turn your dreams into reality. So the reason that I made this channel was because I want to find a way for myself to grow as a person, and I'm looking for health and wealth and success and stuff. But I want to have other people do it as well. And I've created many different things in my life, but none of them successful the way that I want to. And as I was thinking about the core of who I am, I love to learn. That's all this is. I like to teach, but not as much as I love to learn. And I'm trying to find a way to turn my learning path into something that can help other people achieve things, and so that I can get a certain level of success along with it. Um, so to create content and turn this into something. And the reason that I put alchemist in there was because alchemy is not like a disciplined science. It's what they call a proto-science, meaning it's in the development of becoming disciplined as people are learning and growing and stuff. So I thought that the Knowledge Alchemist kind of did that very well. Last couple videos, I've been using AI in order to help me plan the business and figure out what it is I'm supposed to be doing and how I'm going to do it. And it's given me a list of videos that I'm supposed to be making. The one that I'm going to be doing right now is on overcoming learning plateaus. So I guess I just wanted to talk about it for a second, and then we're going to use ChatGPT to have a little bit of a conversation, possibly. Learning plateaus, and so here's the thing. We got to take this to the very human level of like what people are experiencing. And if you're learning how to code and you hit a plateau in your knowledge, there's not really going to be anything that I can necessarily do to help you from the coding perspective, because I haven't learned how to become, a full-time game programmer. So when we talk about learning plateaus, I'm talking about like personal growth. I'm talking about your life and in general, getting to a point where you kind of get stuck. In the last conversation I had on the power of lifelong learning, I was telling people that you really have to make sure that you take an active role in your life uh, to learn and to cultivate your life, because what happens is life happens, and you can either be there to have to consume the changes of things happening, and then you become whatever it is that life kind of chooses for you as a result of that. It's like you're the dough, and life is like just pushing on you in different directions. When that dough is done being pushed around, the shape of the dough and what it looks like is going to be dictated by life. But if you take an active role, there's certain ways that you can kind of force yourself to be a certain shape throughout life. And one of the examples that I give is what I call taking a left turn. So this basically just means, like, if you're going from place A to place B, every day, same route. Every once in a while, just throw a curveball in there and take a random left turn. But it's not just about traveling between two places and taking a left turn. It's about your life in general. A lot of people, they just get up and every day, they go to the same job, they see the same people, they do and say the same stuff. It's very programmed. Um, and while that feels comforting, the problem with it is that when life starts to kind of push you around, if you lose your job, or your spouse cheats on you, or a family pet passes away or something, you don't have an opportunity to do anything other than just react to the situation. And so you become a victim of just time itself, right? So when we're talking about specifically, let's say, like overcoming learning plateaus, I don't know that I necessarily have any plateaus in my life other than those where I get too sucked into a routine and too stuck in things. So over my 5-year relationship with my now current wife, we've been all over the map as far as like people that we are. I mean, just pick out two people from a story in your head, and like, whatever it is that they're doing or how they act, we've been there, we've done that. We've been wealthy, we've been poor, we've been sober, we've been alcoholics, we've been happy, we've been mad, we've been, just all over the spectrum of life. And the times that I got afraid were the times that I got stuck, and the times that I got stuck were those where I was literally just waking up to go to work, to come home, to watch the same shows and do the same stuff, and then wake up and go to work and come home and do the same stuff over and over and over again. And that's a learning plateau to me. That's when your life has just taken on this very like coasting ease, and it kind of destroys you. You don't get to grow from that. So to overcome learning plateaus, the easiest way, in my opinion, is to do stuff that you believe to be out of character for yourself, so that you can learn how to incorporate some of those actions and experiences into your character so they become a part of you. And that way, you can kind of gain this kind of confidence that you can do whatever you want, be whatever you want, and say whatever you want, and so on and so forth. Um, so, if you're the kind of person, let me give a practical example, who goes to work and it's just like you have a boss and a job and task and responsibilities, and you're the worker, so you just do the stuff, and the boss brings you the work and you do the work, and the boss says to do something and then you do that something. Start questioning the boss. Start questioning why you're doing stuff. Start questioning if there's a better way of doing it. The job of life is not to sit in an office and process, you know, paperwork and whatever other stuff. Anyway, neighbors are crazy upstairs. Um, but it's that's not your role in life. That's your role in your job, yes, but not your role in life. And so take a left turn every once in a while. There's a lot of people that don't take the time to like go outdoors and just like appreciate nature, for example. And this is something that I've had to kind of like teach my wife, is to like go outside, sit on a bench, and just like people watch, or just like look at a tree. When was the last time you ever looked at a tree and just kind of like examined it and you were like, this is what a tree looks like? Now, that's the end for most people, but if you continue to look at the tree, you'll start to notice stuff. You'll be like, oh, and it's kind of interesting actually. Like there's a little bit of like moss in the bark or whatever, but it's always like on the left side, of these little ridges. And then you start to question and wonder, like, well, why is the moss always on the left side? Like I don't really understand. And you walk around the tree and you look at different parts of the tree, and you're like, oh, there's holes in this tree. Like from far away I never realized, but close up I see that the bark has what looks to be like damage and stuff, or something. Or these ones look different than those ones. I wonder why. You'll see different little bugs. You'll see maybe some bug that you've never seen before. Um, you know, Interestingly enough, there's quite a few spiders in trees sometimes. So it's like, maybe you'll see a spider, or maybe you'll just pick up the fact that there's like more going on with that tree than just like you looking at a tree and going like, oh, yep, that's a tree. Oh, yep, that's a sidewalk. Oh, yep, that's a car. Um, and so to get over your learning plateaus, it's like take left turns, take risks, ask questions, you know, like just look at stuff for longer than you feel that you're comfortable to look at something. Preferably not people. Don't be like that. But just look at stuff, in general, or look at people in general. Go eat at a restaurant alone. Go eat at go watch a movie alone. Talk to people that you don't normally talk to. Get out of your comfort zones. People get bubbled, they get stuck in life, and that is what kind of gets them stuck in the whole general sense of learning and living life, being in life. Another thing that I think is important, I guess this was a face video, so I should have changed my format for it, but I'll know that next time. The other thing that I think is important to understand is that to get over learning plateaus, you have to understand the difference between passive learning and active learning. And the reason I say this is because it's very common for people to get into this thing where they get onto YouTube or Wikipedia or TikTok, and they search for something, like they're almost actively trying to like learn about a subject. I want to learn about social media, management and like digital marketing and stuff. So I'm gonna open up 1,000 tabs of all of it, and I'm gonna watch all the videos, and I'm going to look at all the stuff, and I'm going to develop a whole bunch of opinions on digital media marketing. um, but you're not really learning, because if the next day you do the same thing and the next day you do the same thing, and then you're like, okay, well, I've got a pretty good understanding of this, I kind of have an idea of how it works, and then you move on to another subject, you move on to another branch of the same thing, and you just keep going. You got stuck in the marketing of sitting there and watching YouTube videos all the time, and you're not learning anything, you're consuming. And there's a difference between learning something and consuming, and that's the action part. And that's why I'm telling you to take a left turn, or to put yourself in the positions that are new or unique in your life. You need to break out of that mold, make sure that you're never in it. You need to always kind of be like shifting things up, and not becoming stale, because the moment that you're stale, while the rest of the universe is moving and you stop, it's like the rest of the universe is going to keep going. Time keeps going, people keep going, relationships keep going. Like, everything is chaos theory, man. Everything's going to break down, right? So it's like you've got to move with stuff all the time. And for everybody else who's kind of like stale and stuck and so on and so forth, you're going to seem like this crazy person who like does everything and goes everywhere, and so on and so forth. And maybe it would be interesting to kind of have a conversation about that effect sometime, on how you being the person, like my wife and I, to a lot of our old friendships, it's like we were like the crazy team. We were called Controlled Chaos. That was our nickname. And it's like anybody at any time could give us a call, a text, whatever, and be like, show up here, do this, grab that, meet me here, whatever it was. And we would just drop everything and out the door. Like, there was no questions asked. So it was like at any point in time, people knew that we were the crazy ones that could do anything and would do anything. And so when people had ideas or interests, or, wanted to experience something, it's like we were the ones that they would call to come create that environment for them, and spice things up, etc., etc. So yeah, so I would say overcoming learning plateaus, number one thing that you want to do is just take more action in your life. Don't be stale. Recognize when you're being stale. If you're spending too much time on YouTube learning stuff, you're not actually learning. That's passive. You're becoming stale. And some ways to get over that is, to start a business, create something, do something, change your location, change your atmosphere, ask questions, fight against stuff, and kind of like contest things, and just push the boundaries of yourself and your relationships and your life and all that stuff, within a healthy amount, of course. I mean, if you're a struggling mom with 2 children or whatever, it's no time to start shitting on your boss to kind of like see what's going on in life. But I mean, if you have the opportunity to be a little bit more ballsy and ask questions, you absolutely should. You should do that. I've had many situations where people respect me for the fact that I would challenge them, and they're in a position to hire or fire me. Like, they can make or break my life at that point. But they don't get challenged. It's not a thing that happens very often. And they get challenged with like disrespect. They get challenged with people like not showing up and creating problems, in a work environment, or like not doing their work or something. But if your boss asks you to do something, and you guys are trying to like market a new product or do some research on something, it's like, ask why. Like, you're not just there to like be a robot at the computer. It's like, why do you want this? Why do you think that this is a good idea? So yeah, anyways, so that's what I think on continuous learning, and we'll see you guys for the next video.